Well, baseball has meant a great deal to me from the time that I can first remember. The first World Series I remember vividly is 1960 when the Pirates upset the Yankees, and that's the first real sadness I ever experienced in my life because I was just heartbroken that my Yankees lost that World Series. And I guess it was part of what inspired me to become a broadcaster. And I can say this truthfully, of all the things that I've been very, very lucky to do, the Olympics, the NBA in the 90s during the Michael Jordan era, Super Bowls, Kentucky Derbies, all the things that I've been lucky enough to do, baseball has always meant the most to me and always resonated the most for me. Well, the New York State Baseball Hall of Fame serves a very good purpose. There are people involved in baseball who will never find themselves inducted at Cooperstown, but that doesn't mean that they didn't have noteworthy lives and careers in baseball. And to be recognized, in many cases in front of their peers in this room right over there, is very gratifying. Many of these people are high school coaches, or they had relatively brief careers in the major leagues. But it means something to their friends, their families, the people that they played with or coached with. They had an impact on a lot of lives. And their names may not be in headlines most of the time, but they have lives in baseball. And for the New York State Baseball Hall of Fame to recognize that is meaningful, and in some cases it's even touching. Well, when I broke in or found myself at Syracuse in the early 70s, it was radio, and the average city had 3 TV stations, the network stations, maybe a couple of independent stations. Now everything has exploded. The internet, podcasts, cable television. I think the nuts and bolts of play-by-play, how you call a game in any sport, has remained essentially the same, with some differences, but essentially the same. But the talk show stuff, the hot takes, the clickbait, the infusion of gambling out in the open, I think a lot of sports now has become more transactional than emotional, and that takes some of the charm away. But it's generational. Someone who's 25 may not feel that way. I'm much older than that, and I grew up in a different environment. That's how I feel.
On the education aspect of his, not just while you're in school, but throughout your life, be a reader. And that doesn't mean scrolling on your phone. Read. It will give you an appreciation of the English language, give you an appreciation of a well-turned phrase. Plus, it will broaden your frame of reference. And even if you just find yourself confined to sports, the broader your frame of reference, the more interesting the person you be, and therefore the more interesting your broadcast. Now, when it comes to actually pursuing the job, it's so much different than when I did it more than 50 years ago. You had to send out a cumbersome tape. You had to call someone on a landline. You had to write an actual letter. Now, if someone has a decent tape, which they feel is indicative of their best work, you could send out 100 links in one day. And that would be my advice. Just kind of carpet bomb the whole thing. Send out as many as you can think of. And don't be upset or offended when you don't hear back. Just play a numbers game. Play the law of averages. Throw 100 things against the wall and hope that 2 or 3 stick. And once you have your first opportunity, be willing to go anywhere. Maybe your hope is that someday you will be calling the Super Bowl or the World Series, but you can start in Timbuktu doing the weather on weekends and high school basketball during the week. Take anything that gives you reps and that gives you that first notch on a resume and that begins to put you in touch with people that you can network with that may help you.